what's on my Retroid Pocket. This is the 2TB micro SD edition, and look at Kratos there looking like a boss. So I know what you guys might be thinking, why in the world are you making another what is on my Retroid Pocket video? Specifically today I want to showcase to anyone who's looking into buying a 2TB micro SD card, what can you actually fit into this card? How many games, how many applications, how many PlayStation 2 games or a Nintendo Switch? I filled up this entire micro SD card and I just thought it would be really fun just to show people, you know, what you can do with the Retroid Pocket 5 loaded with a 2TB micro SD card. And yes, to anyone out there who's wondering or thinks that this doesn't work, you can buy a 2TB micro SD card and it will work, and it should work with your Retroid Pocket 5. I loved having that 1TB of space for all my games. But the one thing I noticed with that micro SD card is that you can't really put a lot of PlayStation 2 games on there, especially if you want to put a lot of GameCube or PSP titles, which is what I mainly play on my Retroid Pocket, and you're not going to have much space left over for Nintendo Switch or PS2 games. That extra terabyte of storage will come in handy, especially with PlayStation 2 and Nintendo Switch. Without further ado, let's get into this one because it is going to be a long video, so make sure to grab a snack and drink. Also, make sure you stay tuned until the end. I will have a special announcement for this channel. Let's get into it. Just look at this thing, it's so immaculate. So here is our Retroid Pocket 5, and we're gonna go into all the applications I have on here, all of the games through Emulation Station. Obviously, this is an Android device, so you could download your Android Play Store games, but who in the hell buys a Retroid Pocket to play phone games? Google Chrome browser. This is what I use to download a lot of the emulators. I'd usually download the APKs through the Chrome browser. The Play Store, because this is an Android device, you can download many of your Play Store games through here, like Call of Duty Mobile, any game that's on Android. Now we have here a bunch of our applications. We got the music app, the Retroid Launcher app, which I never use. I haven't used it once. M64 Plus F-Zero Pro, that is a Nintendo 64 emulator that you do have to pay for. I believe it's around $2 to $3. PPSSPP, that is the PlayStation Portable emulator, one of my favorite handheld systems, and is awesome emulating those here. This is probably the best retro handheld for PSP emulation. DuckStation here for PlayStation 1 emulation. Yaba Shiro 2 Pro, that is for Sega Saturn. Redream for Sega Dreamcast. Moonlight, I believe, is for PC streaming. I haven't messed around with that at all, specifically because I usually use Steam Link, which basically just connects to my Steam account and then it lets me stream those games. Most of my PC games I own are through Steam anyway, so I usually end up going with that instead of Moonlight. GeForce Now, I've heard great things about. I've never used it myself though. XBX Play, this is also to stream games, specifically your Xbox games. Syncing Fork to transfer your save files from, let's say, your RP5 to another retro handheld. Then we have Melon DS Nightly to emulate our Nintendo DS games. I usually go with the nightly version, which you can find through the Google Chrome browser. I go with that version because it lets you customize the size of the screens more. Then we have Obtainium, which is sort of a front end for a bunch of downloadable emulators that aren't available on the Play Store. Cemu for Nintendo Wii U emulation, Azahar for Nintendo 3DS, Dolph Emulator for your Nintendo GameCube and Wii emulation, RetroArch for all your older systems, Sega Genesis, Sega Game Gear, NES, Super Nintendo, RPCX, that is for PlayStation 3 emulation. I haven't heard great things about it. I have heard some games run, but I really don't want to mess around with that. I'd rather just play those on my PC. Same with the Vita 3K emulator. I basically just have this here just to have it in case I ever want to try it out. Then we have Nether SX2 to play my PS2 games, and it's awesome. Honestly, you could play most of your PS2 games on here. The reason I bought this thing in the first place, Emulation Station, one of the best, if not the best, front end for all your emulated games and emulators. That little application, Game Hub, which is to emulate your PC games. Some people people will probably be interested in this. Today's mostly to go into the games I have on Emulation Station again, mostly PS2, like I said, Nintendo Switch. The reason I'm not really showcasing this as much is because ever since I made that video showcasing PC emulation on my Retroid Pocket, I haven't really dived back into that. It's just not a great experience, honestly. A lot of games do work, but you have to do so much just to get them to run. At that point, I don't know, it's just not worth it to me. I'd rather just play my PC games on my PC. It's right here, it's easy. I just turn on my PC, download the game, and that's it. I don't have to configure 30 settings for a specific game to make it run, and then it still doesn't run right. But if you are wondering, where is GameHub? Why aren't you showcasing GameHub in this video with 2 terabytes? That is the reason. I just don't think GameHub is truly worth it. Then we have the YouTube application. I do watch YouTube on here sometimes. Need for Speed No Limits, the only Android game I have downloaded on here. Well, actually, I do have Plants vs. Zombies there and GTA Chinatown Wars. I love Need for Speed, so I just wanted to try it out. Sudachi, this is the Nintendo Switch emulator I use. GTA Chinatown Wars and Plants vs. Zombies. I just downloaded these because I believe they were free to download, but you do have to purchase the license to keep on playing them. The Dark Knight Rises, honestly, it doesn't even work. PX Play, PlayStation Remote Play, I have these on here because I made a specific video about a couple of weeks ago about PlayStation game streaming. If you haven't checked that video out, make sure to check it out. Usually I go with PX Play. The PlayStation Remote Play app doesn't even let you use the buttons on the Retroid Pocket. So now we're gonna go into Emulation Station for all of you that have been waiting, and here we go. Let's click on that little icon there. First, I'm gonna show you guys all the systems I have on here. We have Atari 2600 here. Honestly, I do not mess around with the Atari games at all. I just have them here just to showcase them whenever I make videos for other people, mainly, not really for me. Atari 2600, 666 games. Atari 5200, 73 games. Atari 7800, we have 60 games. Atari Linx, and we have 75 games for that. Wonder Swan, one of the most underrated handheld. So for the Wonder Swan, we have 110 games. Wonder Swan Color, we have 94 games. Mega Duck, we got the 24 games. I believe that was all that was released for the Mega Duck. Nintendo 3DS, one of the staples here for the Retroid Pocket 5. So I believe we have the entire library here of North American releases. 419 games for the Nintendo 3DS. Nintendo 64, we have 362 games. Nintendo DS, 1,746 games. NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System, the system that brought back the entire video game industry after it had collapsed. We have 850 games. Game Boy, 375 games. Game Boy Advance, 489 games. Game Boy Color, 448 games. Nintendo GameCube, we only have 51 games here. Super Nintendo, 626 games. And we have the very controversial Nintendo Switch, 13 games. We'll go into that in a bit. Nintendo Wii, we only have 3 games for the Nintendo Wii. Nintendo Wii U, only 3 games. Sega Dreamcast, we only have 6 games here. Sega Game Gear, 420 games. Sega Mega Drive, 32X, 49 games. Sega Saturn, 51 games. Sony PlayStation 1, we have 592 games here. Sony PlayStation 2, we have 153 games here. And PlayStation Portable, one of my favorite systems to emulate here on the Retroid Pocket, and we have mostly the entire library here. 615 games. I'm going to change the theme because I'm not a fan of how this theme showcases the games. As you see here, it shows the game on a PSP and it shows the game's title on the right. This looks cool, but I'm not a fan of it. I like to see the box art bigger. The box art is down here, but I don't know. I just don't enjoy the layout of this theme once you get into the systems and are looking at the games. Let's go into the main menu here. Here you can scrape your box arts for your games. This is your UI settings, your sound settings, input device settings, game collection settings, other settings, utilities, and to quit Emulation Station. Under the other settings, you can choose alternative emulators emulators. So this is where you would select which emulator you want these games to run through. Under UI settings, you could download themes here. Here are the themes I already have downloaded. So we have Colorful Pop, Iconic, and Linear. These are some of my favorites, but we are going to go with Colorful Pop, my favorite theme overall, to showcase all of the games when we're scrolling through them. Carousel Video. Okay, and here you have it. Atari 2600, Atari 52, all the systems are here. So once we go into here, we see the box art here, the name of the game, and then a video in the background playing of gameplay. So with these Atari games, I'm just gonna scroll through them because I'm not gonna go through all the games. I don't know what half of these games are. If you enjoy the Atari 2600, you know, I'm glad you enjoy those games. That is awesome. But for me, they're a little too simplistic. It was before my time. We got the Alien game here. If I come across a game that I have any experience with, I will make sure to let you guys know what my experience is with that game. I guess we could thank Atari for causing that video game crash in the 80s, which then led to Nintendo bringing it back and dominating the video game industry for a while, you know, until PlayStation took them on, or until Nintendo created PlayStation as a rival. All the people that are into Atari right now are like super pissed at me because I'm not like going into detail about how Gremlins is one of the best games of all time. By the way, anyone who is into Atari 2600 games, what is your top 10 Atari 2600 games? What are the best games for the Atari 2600? Miss Pac-Man is an iconic Atari 2600 game. Q*bert, everyone remembers Q*bert. That Mickey Mouse game, Sorcerer's Apprentice. I accidentally launched Alfred. Let's go into Atari 5200, 73 games. The 5200 Mario Bros there, a very popular title for the Atari. Miss Pac-Man. Pac-Man's always a classic, man. You can't beat it. Same with Q*bert. Space Invaders, of course. I used to play this too. Star Wars, the arcade game. Atari 7800 with only 60 games. And my favorite one, Ball Blazer. For some reason, this is the one game I always try. Centipede, a classic. Dig Dug, Donkey Kong Jr., Double Dragon, a classic there. Fatal Run, Food Fight Galaga, love me some Galaga. Mario Bros, Mat Mania, Miss Pac-Man again, Ninja Golf, Touchdown. And that is it for the Atari 7800. Atari Linx, this has 75 games for it. The Batman Returns has the Dark Knight Rises background image for some reason. The Atari Linx, it always looks so massive whenever I would see it. It looks super inconvenient to play it. The screen was like so small. Miss Pac-Man again, Ninja Gaiden, Pac-Land, Rygar, everyone's favorite game, the Fidelity Ultimate Chess Challenge. And that is it for Atari Linx. Go into Bandai WonderSwan, Anchor's Field. If you guys have not tried out some of these WonderSwan games, I would recommend you look into it. They're super cool. Digimon version WonderSwan, Digimon Adventure. These are really cool, these Digimon games. There was a Hunter x Hunter game for the WonderSwan. That's crazy. Lingrazer, Load Runner, Magical Drop, Mobile Suit Gundam, Pocket Fighter, Rainbow Islands, Robot Works. Oh, what's this? Space Invaders for a WonderSwan. That's pretty cool. Tekken Card Challenge. Tokyo Majin Trump Collection. Go into WonderSwan color with only 94 games. And these do have colors. Digimon Tamers, Battle Spirit. Digimon Tamers. A lot of Digimon games here for the WonderSwan color. Dragon Ball. Gotta love Dragon Ball, man. Final Fantasy 2 for Golden Axe, Guilty Gear, Inuyasha, Namco, Naruto, One Piece, Tetris. It even has Tetris. That's all you need. Tetris is the perfect game. Creatonic, Megaduck, only 24 games. Armor Force, Beast Fighter, Black Forest Tale, Bomb Disposer, Captain Knick-Knack, Street Rider, the Brick Wall Vex. Okay, so now Nintendo 3DS, one of my favorite handhelds to emulate here on the RP5, 419 games. We're gonna scroll through most of these and I'll just call out whatever games I have some experiences with. Ace Combat Assault Horizon Legacy, Adventure Time, Alien Chaos 3D, The Amazing Spider-Man, Andro Dunas 2, that looks like a cool game. Angry Birds Trilogy, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? I remember watching that show a lot. That is not what I remember watching, by the way. The animations on that look kind of weird. A TUI collection. This is a really cool collection of, I believe, 4 or 5 games. Azure Striker Gunbolt Striker Pack, Batman Arkham Origins Blackgate, Bravely Default, Bravely Second, Captain America, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, Castlevania Lords of Shadow Mirror Fate, Chibi Robo Siplash, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2, still waiting for the third movie, Codename Steam, Code of Princess, Combat of Giants, Dinosaurs, Conception 2, Cooking Mama. A lot of people love their Cooking Mama. Corpse Party, Crash City Mayhem, Concept Revolt, Dead or Alive Dimensions. This game is awesome. I'd really recommend if you're into fighting games, you try out this 3DS game. It's probably the best fighting game on the 3DS. Detective Pikachu, a lot of Disney stuff here now. Magical World, Disney's Planes, Donkey Kong Country returns 3D. There is a newer version of this on the Nintendo Switch. Doodle Jump Adventures, Dragon Ball Fusions, Dragon Ball Z Extreme Butoden. This is an awesome fighting game as well. Dragon Quest 7, Dragon Quest 8, Fire Emblem Awakening, Fire Emblem Echoes, Fire Emblem Fates Birthright. A lot of Fire Emblems there. Fossil Fighters Frontier, Fragment Story, Frogger 3D, Generator Rex, Agent of Providence, the game of the millennium, Harvest Moon 3D, The Lost Valley. A lot of the Harvest Moon games here. I'm not really into them, honestly. It's not my type of game. Hatsune Miku Project Mirror DX, Heavy Fire, The Chosen Few 3D, Hello Kitty, Heroes of Ruin, Hey Pikmin, Hometown, Horses 3D, How to Train Your Dragon 2. By the way, that live action adaptation of How to Train Your Dragon was pretty cool. I really enjoyed it. I thought they did a very good job with that. Hyrule Warriors Legends. The Nintendo 3DS and DS had a lot of these filler games that you would just see on shelves that no one would buy. Jake Hunter Detective Story Ghost of the Dusk. I've heard this is a good game. Jaws Ultimate Predator, the Jaws PlayStation 2 game is pretty good. Kid Icarus Uprising, it was a very enjoyable game. Quite nice to have it here on the RP5. Kingdom Hearts 3D Dream Drop Distance. I have not got to this game yet. I don't know if you guys know this, but I am playing Kingdom Hearts 1 for the first time. I am making a video for that I will upload on a different channel because I'm not going to be uploading reviews here anymore. Kirby Planet Robobot, Kirby Triple Deluxe. This is a very fun game. Kirby Battle Royale. All the Lego games here. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, Mahjong Cubed, Mario and Luigi Dream Team, Paper Jam, Bowser's Inside Story plus Bowser's Jr.'s Journey, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, Mario Golf World Tour, Mario Kart 7. This is an amazing kart racer. You probably already know that. I think it's one of the best Mario Kart. If I had to say it, maybe it's in the top 3 Mario Kart games. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for Nintendo Switch is probably the best one. Mario Party Star Rush, Mario Party Island Tour, Mario Party the Top 100, Mega Man Legacy Collection, Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater 3D, one of the best Metal Gear Solids, Metroid Samus Returns, a very good game, Metroid Prime, Federation Force, Michael Jackson's The Experience 3D, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, Monster Hunter Generations, Stories, Moshi Monsters, Myst, Nano Assault, Need for Speed The Run. This game is pretty fun here on the 3DS. New Super Mario Bros. 2, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Nicktoons MLB, One Piece Romance Dawn, Pac-Man and Galaga Dimensions, Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures 1 and 2. I have heard good things about Ghostly Adventures 1 and 2. Pac-Man Party, Paddington, Paper Mario Sticker Star, Persona Q2 New Cinema Labyrinth. I'm not a huge Persona guy. A lot of people love those games. Pilot Wings Resort Pinball, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Pokemon Rumble Blast, Pokemon Rumble World, Pokemon Alpha Sapphire, Pokemon Art Academy, Pokemon Moon, Pokemon Omega Ruby, Sun, Mystery Dungeon, Ultra Moon, Ultra Sun, X, Y. If you've seen some of my previous videos, I'm not a big Pokemon guy either. I think I just prefer Digimon and Yu-Gi-Oh overall. That's what I grew up with. I didn't really grow up watching Pokemon that much. I only watched some of the movies. Poochie and Yoshi Woolly World, Professor Layton, Project X Zone and Project X Zone 2, Radiant Historia Perfect Chronology, Rayman 3D, Rayman Origins. This is a great game if you're into platformers. Real Heroes, Firefighter 3D, Real Fishing Paradise 3D, Resident Evil The Mercenaries 3D. I'm not a huge fan of this one here. Resident Evil Revelations, one of my favorite Resident Evil games. This is a very underrated Resident Evil game. No one really talks about this one when they talk about, you know, top 5 RE games. It is definitely in my top 10 for sure, an 8 or a 9 out of 10. Ridge Racer 3D, this is a great racing game. Rise of the Guardians, River City Rival Showdown, River City Tokyo Rumble, Rodeo the Sky Soldier, Rune Factory, Savant's Power Rangers Megaforce, Scribblenauts Unlimited, Sega 3D Classics Collection, Sengen Kagura 2 Deep Crimson, Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. I used to own the physical versions of all of the Shantae games that Limited Run released. Shifting World, Shin Megami Tensei, Devil Summoner Soul Hackers. I believe this is part of the Persona series. Shin Megami Tensei, Devil Summoner Overclocked, Shin Megami Tensei 4, Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse, Shinobi, Shovel Knight. Need to get to this. Man, there's not enough time to play all these games. Sonic and All-Stars Racing. You guys need to play Sonic Boom. Sonic Generations, Sonic Lost World, Spider-Man Edge of Time, Spirit Camera, The Cursed Memoir, SpongeBob Hero Pants, SpongeBob SquarePants, Plankton's Robotic Revenge, SpongeBob SquigglePants 3D. I have not played this game, but my favorite SpongeBob game is the PlayStation 2 game, the one that was based on the movie that released around that time. I believe it was titled SpongeBob SquarePants, the movie, the game, something like that. Spy Hunter, this is an awesome racing game for the 3DS. Star Fox 64 3D. The only Star Fox game I've ever played is the one that released on GameCube. Steel Diver was a launch title for the 3DS. Stella Glow, Story of Seasons, Style Savvy, Super Mario 3D Land. This game is pretty good. I wouldn't say it's that amazing, honestly. It's basically a shorter, not as good version of Super Mario 3D World. I think overall the 3D World game as well is not that great, but to each their own, I guess. Super Mario Maker for 3DS, Super Monkey Ball 3D, Super Smash Bros for Nintendo 3DS, Super Street Fighter 4 3D Edition, another launch title for the 3DS. Sushi Striker The Way of Sushido, this is also now on Nintendo Switch. Tales of the Abyss, Tekken 3D Prime Edition, another great fighting game for the 3DS. The 3DS has a awesome library of fighting games. Tenkai Knights Brave Battle. Terraria. I'm not really into Terraria. My niece and nephews always play this game and they force me to play it. I just don't get it. It's like a 2D Minecraft and I don't enjoy Minecraft either, so it was never for me. Tetris Access, Tetris Ultimate, The Adventures of Tintin the game, The Alliance Alive, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I hate those movies. They're not great. I just don't like the portrayal of Peter Parker in those movies. The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds, The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D, Ocarina of Time 3D, Triforce Heroes, the Lego Movie video game, The Oregon Trail, The Sims 3, The Smurfs, The God of Thunder. This game is insanely bad. Well, the PlayStation 3 version was insanely bad, but I'm guessing this is just as bad, if not worse. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Shadow Wars, Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell 3D, Ultimate NES Remix, WarioWare Gold, Wreck-It Ralph WWE All-Stars, one of my favorite wrestling games. I love the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 version. Yokai Watch 2, Yoshi's New Island, Zero Escape Virtua's Last Reward, Zero Escape Zero Time Dilemma, and that is it for the Nintendo 3DS games. Nintendo 64, we're gonna scroll through these a little faster. The Nintendo 64 was actually my first console, the first console I ever owned. Beetle Adventure Racing is a pretty cool racing game. Big Mountain 2000, Biofreaks, Blast Corps. If you haven't played Blast Corps, this is a classic by Rare. Bomberman 64, Bust a Move 99, Carmageddon 64, Castlevania. These games are insanely hard. I have Castlevania Legacy of Darkness. I believe this is a sequel to this one here. Conker's Bad Fur Day, a game that I always hear is like this amazing game by Rare. Cruisin' Exotica, Cruisin' USA, a classic. Cyber Leopard Tiger, Dark Rift, Deadly Arts, Destruction Derby 64, Diddy Kong Racing. I don't know why I have 3 versions of Diddy Kong Racing there. Donald Duck Going Quackers, Donkey Kong 64, Doom 64. I have 2 versions for some reason. Dr. Mario 64, Dual Heroes, Duke Nukem 0 Hour Earthworm Jim, Excite Bike 64, Extreme G, F-Zero X, Fighters Destiny 2 and Fighters Destiny 1, Fighting Force 64, Flying Dragon, Forsaken 64, Gauntlet Legends, Glubber, Goemon's Great Adventure, Golden Nugget 64, GoldenEye 007. I've heard amazing things about GoldenEye. I mean, who hasn't, you know? It's considered to be one of the best first-person shooters. I'm just gonna scroll through all of these games. If you guys have any recommendations for Nintendo 64 games that you think I should try, or that anyone that's watching this video should try, make sure to leave it in the comments below. Mario Golf, Mario Kart 64, Mario Party. I love the Mario Party games, especially 2 and 3 on the N64. I would play those all the time with my dad back in the day. Mega Man 64, Mortal Kombat 4, Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero, Mortal Kombat Trilogy again, Miss Pac-Man Maze Madness, Mystical Ninja starring Goemon, Namco Museum 64, Nightmare Creatures. This is one of the only Nintendo 64 games I actually owned back when I bought my first console, and I was so obsessed with it. I don't know why, honestly. When it comes down to it, I'm pretty sure this game isn't like revered by anyone. I haven't heard too many people say they love this game, but for some reason, me as a little 8-year-old kid, I was obsessed with this game. I thought the cover art was so cool. Nuclear Strike 64, Ogre Battle 64, Paper Mario, Paper Boy, Perfect Dark, Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2, Rayman 2, Revolt, Ready to Rumble, Boxing, Resident Evil 2, Road Rash 64, Roadsters, Rugrats, Scars, San Francisco Rush Extreme Racing, Scooby-Doo, Sesame Street, Shadow Man. This was also one of the other Nintendo 64 games I owned for it. I still really haven't played through it. I need to do that. There is a remastered version on PlayStation 4. Space Invaders, Star Fox 64, Star Wars, Stunt Racer, Super Mario 64, Super Smash Bros, Superman, The New Superman Adventures, Tarzan. I love Tarzan, by the way. The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Tom and Jerry, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, Toy Story 2 Buzz Lightyear to the Rescue, Transformers Beast Wars, Turok 2, Turok 3, Turok Rage Wars, Twisted Edge Extreme Snowboarding, Vigilante 8 Second Offense, War Gods, Wave Race 64, Winback Covert Operations, Yoshi Story. Back out of there and go into Nintendo DS. We have 1,746 games, so obviously I'm not going to talk about all of these. I'm just going to try to scroll through them as fast as possible while sharing with you what I think are some of the best Nintendo DS games. I do have a video on the Retroid Pocket dual screen add-on. I talk about a couple of Nintendo DS games that I do enjoy, such as Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars. I think that's a pretty fun little game there. And then we do have Mario Kart DS, New Super Mario Bros. For the Nintendo DS. This is one of the systems that I think has a lot of filler games, a lot of shovelware. I remember back in the day when the Nintendo DS was kind of, you know, overstaying its welcome, and we were about to get the Nintendo 3DS. Whenever you would go to Walmart or Target, there would just be these big bins of Nintendo DS games, and there would be so many shovelware games in there for $5 or $10. There's a lot of trash on the Nintendo DS, but I think it also has a lot of amazing games for it as well. I also do enjoy that Resident Evil 1 remake that they made for the Nintendo DS, Deadly Deadly Silence. I did cover that in one of my previous videos as well. I would really recommend it if you're into, obviously, Resident Evil 1. We're gonna end this off with Kingdom Hearts 358 by 2 days. I'm just gonna back out of here because there's way too many Nintendo DS games here. I have mostly the entire library, or at least the North American library for the Nintendo DS games, and go into Nintendo Entertainment System. We have 850 games in there. What can you expect here? We have every single NES game released in North America here, so I'm not gonna bore you by showing you all the box arts for these as well. Nintendo Game Boy 375 games. I have all the games here, so let's just back out of there. And I started Disney's DuckTales for some reason. Nintendo Game Boy Advance here, 489 games. Your usual suspects here with Advance Wars, a lot of Mario stuff, a lot of Nintendo IP. Game Boy Advance was pretty awesome at the time. I did actually own the Nintendo Game Boy Advance SP. Back in the day, one of my friends, I think, let me have it. I did play the Crash games on it, the Spyro games, and had a blast with that. The really underrated Nintendo handheld. I say underrated, but then again, the Game Boy line of handhelds did sell a lot, so maybe I'm wrong about that. Okay, so let's back out of there, go down to Game Boy Color, 448. Same thing here, a lot of your usual suspects. I'm not gonna get too into the Game Boy Color here. The thing about Game Boy Color is that a lot of games back in the day would release on both Game Boy Color and the original Game Boy, and same with the Game Boy Advance. You would see releases for all three of them sometimes. Sometimes it would just be the same game but with color, or then you would have games that were very different from each other. But yeah, that's Game Boy Color. Now we have Nintendo GameCube. I will go more in depth here. We do have the 51 games. Baten, Kaitos, Eternal, Wings, and the Lost Ocean. I believe this is disc 2. Baten, Kaitos Origins, disc 2. Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg, F-Zero GX. Geist, Killer 7, that is a first-person shooter. Kirby Air Ride, the newest game in this series, just came out. Air Riders on Switch 2. Lost Kingdoms 2, Luigi's Mansion, Mario Golf Toadstool Tour, Mario Kart Double Dash. I think it's a very unique one for sure. I also do know that a lot of people also hate this game. 4, 5, 6, 7, Mario Power Tennis, Mario Superstar Baseball, Metal Gear Solid The Twin Snakes. I love this game. I think it's better than the original Metal Gear Solid. While I do enjoy both, I do love this remake because I played it more, obviously, and nostalgia always wins, doesn't it? Metroid Prime 2, Metroid Prime 4 just came out about a month ago or so, something like that. Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, Soul Calibur 2, Space Raiders, love Soul Calibur 2 and Space Raiders, Spider-Man 2, Super Mario Strikers, Super Mario Sunshine, Super Monkey Ball, Zelda Collector's Edition, The Legend of Zelda 4 Swords Adventures, Ocarina of Time Master Quest, The Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Warrior World, I love this game, WarioWare Inc. Mega Party Games, Wave Race Blue Storm, WWE Day of Reckoning 1 and 2. These are some of the best wrestling games. If you have not played them, make sure to try them. They're very fun. I feel like they're very underrated as well. WWE WrestleMania 19, WrestleMania 18, Yu-Gi-Oh! The False Bound Kingdom, Satch Bell Mamoto Battles, Satch Bell Mamoto Fury, Soids Battle, GameCube, and we are back to the beginning of Nintendo GameCube. Into Super Nintendo, we have 626 games. Again, I'm just gonna show a few here, but just expect I have all the SNES games here. And let's back out of there, go down to Nintendo Switch. So this is one of the main consoles I wanted to talk about. Obviously, emulating Nintendo Switch is a bit iffy. Some of the games don't always run well here. You do have to use turnip drivers for them to run. So we have 13 games for Nintendo Switch. Bayonetta 3, which is not my favorite Bayonetta. I think I prefer the original Bayonetta over the other two, and most people consider this one to be the worst one. Astral Chain, a hack and slash that was developed by Platinum Games that I need to get to because it looks awesome. Jurassic Park Classic Games Collection, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, one of the only Nintendo Switch games I've actually completed. I remember buying it back when it released and having a blast with it, and then that led into me playing Super Mario Odyssey for the first time, and that's my favorite Nintendo Switch game of all time. Kirby Fighters 2, Kirby Star Allies, Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, Kirby's Dream Buffet, Lego Horizon Adventures, Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. Not my favorite 3D-ish Mario game. The reason I say 3D-ish is because it kind of blends in 2D and 3D gameplay, so it's kind of a half step between the two. Super Mario Bros. Wonder, one of the best Mario games and some of the best animations in a Mario game. This game has an amazing art style. And we're back to Bayonetta 3. Let's back out of there now. Go into Nintendo Wii. We only have 3 games here. Super Mario All-Stars. This is a collection of old Mario games. Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2. And that is it. We only got 3 Mario games. The reason why I don't have a lot of Nintendo Wii games in here is because a lot of them require motion controls. So not all of them are truly playable here. If they are playable, it's a bit finicky, not worth it to play them here. I usually prefer to play them on my gaming PC so I could use the mouse as the cursor for the Wii remote. So let's back out of there, go down to Nintendo Wii U. We only have 3 games. Devil's Third, the most amazing game of all time, Devil's Third. If you have not heard about this game, this is one of the most expensive Nintendo Wii U games. It's a terrible game from what I've heard. The Walking Dead Survival Instinct, Merle and Daryl, what could be better than that?
Hi, my name is Norman Reedus. I play Daryl Dixon on The Walking Dead. And he plays Daryl, and it's spelled D-E-R-L-E. It's not Daryl, it's Daryl. Please get that right. Level of excitement in the game that is as high as watching it on television. I think it's gonna be awesome. And it's smart too. It's not just a point and shoot type of a thing. There's certain things that you have to do to survive, and levels of noise to make, and things you need to stock up on and track, and it's very, very clever.
For example, zombies coming at me, I kill them.
It doesn't seem like one of those games you're going to sit back and just play. It seems like you're going to be very invested in it, and you have to pay attention to every little element of everything that's around you at all times, because or else you die.
Walking Dead Survival Instinct. Merle and Daryl in a game. What can be better than that?
Absolutely everything. This is one of my favorite games, believe it or not. The Walking Dead Survival Instinct. I have a review on the channel that I made back in the day when I was barely starting my YouTube career. This is one of those games I keep going back to, even though it's a terrible game. I just love it. I don't know what it is about it. I think it's one of those games that is so bad it's good, but even then, I can't even justify saying that because the gameplay is so bad in this game. If you're curious, I would check it out, especially if you are a Walking Dead fan of the TV show or the comics. Going in, you should just know it's not great. It's quite terrible, actually. It's probably worse than the Walking Dead Destinies, which is also a terrible game. Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE, and that is it for Nintendo Wii U. Let's back out of there, go down to Sega Dreamcast because we only have 6 games here. Usually I'll go with downloading the PlayStation 1 versions of whatever games were on both systems. Crazy Taxi 2, Fatal Fury Mark of the Wolves, Samba de Amigo, Soul Calibur, The House of the Dead 2, and that is it for Sega Dreamcast. I need to put some more games on here though. Let's back out of there, go down into Sega Game Gear because we have 420 games on here. And with these, I'm just gonna scroll a bit. I'm not gonna, go through all of these games, obviously, since that would take forever like it did earlier on some of the other systems. Sega Game Gear 420, Sega Mega Drive 32X, 49 games. I have duplicates in here. I only transferred one of the files for each game, but for some reason on here it's showing 2. The 32X is a very strange grouping of games here. It's a small selection of games, but I think they're quite good, especially this amazing Spider-Man game, Web of Fire. Okay, so let's back out of there, go down into Sega Saturn because we got 51 games in there. Albert Odyssey, Astral. If you guys don't know, Sega Saturn is one of the hardest systems to emulate on anything. Darius, Gaiden, Dark Savior, Daytona USA, Deep Fear, Die Hard, Dragon Ball Z, Ida Inaru, Dragon Ball Densetsu. Pardon me for not getting that right at all. Dragon Force, Fighters, Megamix, Fighting Vipers, Galactic Heroes, Guardian Heroes, Last Bronx, Nights into Dreams. I might anger some people by saying this. I tried this game out, I want to say it was a couple months ago on my PS3 because there was a release on the PlayStation 3. This game is terrible. The controls are so bad. I couldn't even figure out how to get around in this game. I think it's a terrible game. I don't know how anyone enjoys it, but if you do, that's awesome for you. I hate this game. Panzer Dragoon, Panzer Dragoon 2, Panzer Dragoon Saga, Power Slave, Radiant, Silver Gun, Saturn Bomberman, Sega Rally Championship, Shining Force 3, some Sonic games here, Street Fighter, House of the Dead, Virtual Cop, Virtual Fighter. That is it for Sega Saturn. Let's back out of there. Go into Sony PlayStation because we have 592 games. Some of these PlayStation 1 games do have like 4 discs to them. They'll show up here as duplicates because I'm not quite sure on how to make it all into, like, let's say just one image here for 4 discs, but I really don't mind it. Alien Trilogy, Alundra, there's a lot of classic games here for the PlayStation 1. Awesome fighting games, Bushido Blade. The PlayStation 1 may have the best library of games of all time. I think it's between the PlayStation 1 and the PlayStation 3. I love those two console generations. If you guys don't know, the PlayStation 1 was the first system I ever played. My brother bought one, brought it home, and it just amazed me. It has so many games: Dino Crisis, Dead or Alive, Die Hard Trilogy, Digimon World, Resident Evil. All the Disney games on the PS1 were so good. They had no business being this good. We have the Crash Bandicoot games, CTR. The Dragon Ball games weren't amazing on the PlayStation 1. Fatal Fury. The Final Fantasy games for the PlayStation 1 were so good. Gex, of course, the GOAT. Gran Turismo, Gran Turismo 2, the original GTA and Grand Theft Auto 2, Grandia. And there were so many JRPGs and RPGs on the PlayStation 1. Gundam Battle, Gungage, or Hashut's Golf, Jam Pack, Jet Moto, Jumping Flash, Kingsfield, Klonoa, Knockout Kings, Lego Island, Lucky Luke. If you haven't played Lucky Luke, man, you gotta play this. I was obsessed with Toy Story back in like 2003 when I first played this game. I know, yeah, it released in 1998, but I played this in 2003 or 2004, somewhere around that time when the original Spider-Man movie released, the Sam Raimi one. And I watched Toy Story back then, so I was obsessed with like cowboys and stuff. So I saw this game Lucky Luke and I had to have it. I thought it was so cool. Going back now, it's not amazing. Lunar 1 and 2, all the Marvel fighting games for the PlayStation 1, Marvel vs. Capcom, Marvel Superheroes, MDK, Mech Warriors, Medal of Honor, Medieval, Mega Man Legends, Mega Man X3, Metal Gear Solid, Metal Slug, Mortal Kombat 3, Mortal Kombat Mythologies, the original Need for Speed games, Nightmare Creatures 1 and 2, Pac-Man World, Parasite Eve, Persona 2. So I was just gonna scroll through these games, right, and not show too many, just show my favorites or just the iconic games, but I'm having a hard time even just showing you guys a couple of games here because the PlayStation 2 library is insanely good. Some of these I don't have box arts for because if you didn't know, when you scrape for box arts, it takes some of the memory from your microSD card or wherever you have the emulation station folder located. I basically have no storage left now. That's why these do not have their box art images. We're just gonna back out of here because I'm just gonna spend all day talking about PlayStation 1 titles. Let's go into the main reason I made this video and the main reason I bought the 2TB microSD card. That was to store PlayStation 2 games on here. As you see there, we have 153 PlayStation 2 games, which is insane because some of those games are anywhere from a gigabyte all the way up to 5 gigabytes, which is a lot of storage for one game. But being able to fit 153 PS2 games while still having around 10 Nintendo Switch and 500 PS1 games and that's not even including Nintendo GameCube games, Nintendo Wii U, Nintendo Wii, and literally the entire Nintendo 3DS library. PlayStation 2, let's go into it because there's a lot of awesome games in here. Batman Begins, Black, Bloody Roar, Dead to Rights. I love the original Dead to Rights games. F Jam Vendetta, Devil Kings, Dirge of Cerberus, Final Fantasy VII, Dragon Ball Z Budokai. This was the best era for Dragon Ball Z games. We had the Budokai games 1 through 3, and then the Tenkaichi titles, Budokai Tenkaichi 1, 2, and 3. Dragon Ball Z Sagas, which is considered to be one of the worst Dragon Ball games, but I love that game. Fatal Frame 2, Fatal Frame, Fatal Fury, God Hand, God of War 1 and 2.
Now there is no hope. And Kratos cast himself from the highest mountain in all of Greece. After 10 years of suffering, 10 years of endless nightmares, it would finally come to an end. Fellow gods. But Kratos had no need for the love of petty gods. He had found a new fountain to deliver the final blow to the besieged city.
I mean, if you don't know about God of War 1 and 2, I don't know what to tell you. These are the best PlayStation 2 titles. You just have to experience them. They're that good. Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, Vice City and Vice City Stories, GTA 3, Jet Li Rise to Honor, King of Fighters 2001, King of Fighters 2003, Marvel Nemesis, Metal Saga, Metal Slug 5, Metal Slug Anthology, one of the best collections, Mortal Kombat Armageddon, Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, Mortal Kombat Deception.
Make your way to the Wuxi Academy.
NBA Street Volume 2, Need for Speed Carbon, my favorite Need for Speed game. I love the drifting in this game. I love that at the end of each section, you have to face one of the bosses and you either get to basically keep their car or they get to keep yours.
Expect you to show your face again.
Need for Speed Most Wanted, one of the most loved Need for Speed games. Need for Speed Underground, Underground 2, Neo Contra, Neo Geo Battle Coliseum, Onimusha, Onimusha Blade Warriors, Onimusha Dawn of Dreams, Pac-Man World 2 and 3. I still need to get to those.
Sure, why not? That's why we're here. We'll start with some screams. Okay, are you ready? And action. Scream, man! Scream for your life! Jack, you're in the shot.
What was that?
I have no idea, but let's stay focused. Let's use that theater and let's go for another take.
Oh my god!
Look out! Fantastic. Bravo, and perfect. Hang on, Jack!
PopCap Hits, PsyOps the Mindgate Conspiracy, Resident Evil Dead Aim, Resident Evil Outbreak File 1 and 2, Rise of the Kasai, Run Like Hell. This is a very unique little horror game where you're constantly running from this monster thing. Second Sight, Seven Samurai, Shadow Hearts Covenant, Shrek 2, one of the best tie-in movie games, Silent Hill 2, Silent Hill 3, Silent Hill 4 The Room, Silent Hill Shattered Memories, Silent Hill Origins, Soul Calibur 2, 3, Spider-Man 1 and 2, Spider-Man 3, Spider-Man Web of Shadows, Spy Fiction, Spy Hunter Nowhere to Run. Of course, we got our boy Dwayne Johnson right there. There he is. Spy Hunter, Spy Hunter 2, Spyro A Hero's Tale, Star Wars Battlefront, Star Wars Bounty Hunter, Street Racing Syndicate. Then we got Super Dragon Ball Z. I was so hyped for this game back on the PlayStation 2. If I had to choose between this and Dragon Ball Z Sagas, I would rather play Sagas. This game is good. It's kind of dumb because once you gather the 7 Dragon Balls, you could make wishes to get things, right? But once you finish getting everything, it basically just lets you wish for different colored clothes for each character, which is really dumb. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, TMNT 2 Battle Nexus, TMNT 3 Mutant Nightmare, Tekken 4, Tekken 5, Tekken Nina Williams and Death by Degrees, Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines, another game I was obsessed with back on the PS2. I traded someone at school for this game. I don't even remember what game I gave them. It might have been Smash Bros for GameCube, which was really stupid when you think about it now with the pricing on that game. The Bouncer, a PlayStation 2 gem. The Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction, probably the best Hulk game ever made. One of the best superhero games ever made. This reminds me a lot of the prototype games from the PS3 and Xbox 360 generation. I believe some of the people that worked on this game went on to work on prototype. The King of Fighters 2002 and 2003. Then we have 2000 and 2001, the King of Fighters 2006, and of course we have the collection for the Orochi Saga, King of Fighters 11. I love King of Fighters. King of Fighters is one of the best fighting franchises. I'm not too happy about the art direction and the direction they took in changing it in the most recent entries, but King of Fighters is always going to hold a special place in my heart. My brother, he got me into video games, and the King of Fighters franchise was one of the series that we played the most back then. This and Metal Slug, so a lot of SNK games. The Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring, the Lord of the Rings, the Third Age, the Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers, the Lord of the Ring games back on PlayStation 2 and GameCube, also on the original Xbox. These tie-in movie titles, I don't know what it was about the PS2 generation, but there was a lot of games that were movie tie-in games that were really awesome and very well put together. You could tell there was quality people working on these games. They truly cared about the Lord of the Rings IP. The Simpsons Simpsons Hit and Run, another title that people praise. The Simpsons Road Rage, The Suffering, and The Suffering 2. Ties That Bind. This series here is very underrated. I believe they are still available to purchase on GOG maybe. Survival horror games where you play as this character that has abilities. Very great games. I need to get those back in the collection. Terminator Dawn of Fate, Tokyo Extreme Racer 3, Tokyo Extreme Racer Drift, Drift 2, Zero, True Crime New York City, and True Crime Streets of LA. If you have not played these games, they're sort of GTA-like games. Streets of LA, to be specific, is one of my favorite PS2 games, probably in my top 10 for sure when it comes to most played PlayStation 2 titles for me. And there was something about the episodic nature of this game that I really enjoyed. It would be split into almost movie-like episodes or TV show-like episodes throughout the story, and then if you died, it would kind of change the outcome. You would get a little cutscene of you dying, which would be basically the ending of the story, but you could retry it to get a different outcome. I didn't vibe too much with New York City, but some people do enjoy it, I guess. Turok Evolution. This isn't my favorite Turok at all. My favorite Turok is the PlayStation 3 and 360 release. Very sad that we never got a second Turok game for the PS3. Twisted Metal Black. I haven't messed around with this at all. It is considered to be one of the best Twisted Metals, one of the only titles that David Jaffe actually worked on. He did work on Twisted Metal 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4 were not developed by him. He then came back for Twisted Metal Black and the 2012 Twisted Metal. Twisted Metal had on Extra Twisted Edition, a port of the PlayStation Portable title. Ultimate Spider-Man, one of the best Spider-Man games. Beautiful Joe and Beautiful Joe 2. I'm sad that there is no way to play them on modern hardware. They have some of the best writing in any game, I think. The art style, how amazing it is. I loved it. I love the character of Joe. War of the Monsters, a monster brawler. Wrath Unleashed, WWE Crush Hour, WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2007, one of my most played series of all time. The SmackDown vs. Raw games. Loved this SmackDown vs. Raw. I don't like the direction the 2K games have taken ever since, you know, THQ went under and 2K bought the license to make the SmackDown vs. Raw games, or the WWE games in general. But back during this era, 2007 all the way through WWE 12, I loved every single one of those titles. I put so much time into them, making your own superstars, fighting for the championship titles. It was just a good time to be alive for me, especially since I was a huge fan of WWE back then. My favorite wrestler, by the way, is Randy Orton. He will always be my favorite wrestler, although he was sort of an evil character in WWE. He was my favorite for sure. WWE SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain. WWE SmackDown, Shut Your Mouth. SmackDown vs. Raw 2006. X-Men Next Dimension, X-Men the official game, X-Men Legends, and Legends 2 being the final title here for the PS2 that I have on my Retroid Pocket 5. The Legends games were so good. They are a lot like the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games, but this focuses mainly on X-Men characters. We only have one system left here, and that is PSP. We have mostly the entire library, 615 games. This is one of the main reasons to have or to buy a Retroid Pocket 5. PlayStation portable games run so good here on the RP5. I've made videos about it before on the channel. Alien Syndrome, this is a pretty cool game. Escape on the Loose, Army of Two, the 40th Day. This is very different from the release that was on PlayStation 3 and 360. Assassin's Creed Bloodlines, Astonishia Story, Astro Boy the video game, Atari Classics Evolved, B-Boy, Battlezone, Ben 10, Alien Force, Beowulf the game. I don't know if you guys remember this movie, but it was one of the most expensive movies to make because of all the CG or the effects they used in the movie. I was super obsessed with the movie. Thought it was so cool because of the CGI. Blade Dancer Lineage of Light. Fun fact, this was one of the first titles released on PS5 that was a PlayStation portable emulated game. They have those games games available now to purchase the PSP games. BlazBlue, Calamity Trigger. I've never been a huge fan of BlazBlue. Blazing Souls. I love Bomberman. Who doesn't love Bomberman? Brave Story, Brothers in Arms D-Day, Burnout Legends, Call of Duty Roads to Victory, one of the only FPS games for the PSP. Capcom Classics Collection Reloaded, Capcom Classics Collection Remixed, Capcom Puzzle World, Cars 2, Castlevania, the Dracula X Chronicles. If you haven't heard of this game, you need to play it. It's called Chile con Carnage. Class of Heroes 2, The Goat, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, Code Lyoko, Coded Arms, Contagion, Corpse Party, some Crash games here, Crash of the Titans, Crash Tag Team Racing, Crimson Gem Saga, Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII. There is a remake of this for PS5 now. Crush, Cube 3D Puzzle Mayhem, Darkstalkers Chronicles, The Tower of Chaos, Daxter, Dead or Alive Paradise, Death Jr., Death Jr. 2, Root of Evil, Def Jam Fight for New York, The Takeover, Disgaea 2, Dark Hero Days, Disgaea, Dissidia, Final Fantasy, Downstream Panic, Dragon Ball Evolution. That movie sucked. It was so bad. I don't even know why this game exists. I'm pretty sure the Dragon Ball Evolution movie bombed at the box office, so I don't know why they would then go and release this game. Why would they think this movie was going to take off, honestly? Dragon Ball Z Shin Budokai, very good Dragon Ball Z game. Shin Budokai Another Road, Dragon Ball Z Tenkaichi Tag Team. This is more like the Budokai Tenkaichi games gameplay wise. Driver 76, Dynasty Warriors, Aragon, Every Extend Extra, Exit, Family Guy, Fate Extra, Field Commander, some FIFA games here, Fight Night Round 3, Final Fantasy 2, Final Fantasy 4, Final Fantasy Tactics, The War of the Lions, Flat Out Head On, Full Auto 2 Battle Lines, G-Force. You guys remember G-Force, that classic Disney movie released in 2000, was it 2009? Gangs of London, Generation of Chaos, Ghost in the Shell standalone complex. This game actually looks pretty good. Ghost Rider, Gitaro Man Lives, Gladiator Begins, God of War Chains of Olympus. This is not my favorite God of War title, especially on the PSP. I do prefer God of War Ghosts of Sparta. I think overall it's a much better game, gameplay wise and story wise. I love the story in God of War Ghosts of Sparta. Out of all of the titles released, during that PS2 going into the PS3 era and PlayStation Portable, Chains of Olympus is probably my least favorite. Well, if you're not counting Ascension, I guess. Ascension maybe is my least favorite, but for sure Chains of Olympus out of the rest of the games is my least favorite. God of War Ghosts of Sparta looks amazing on this screen. I'd recommend you play it if you do have it on your Retroid Pocket 5. God's Eater Burst, Gradius Collection, Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars, Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories, Vice City Stories, Justice League Heroes, Killzone Liberation, all the Lego games for the PSP, Little Big Planet, Loco Roco, Luminous, Lunar Silver Star Harmony, Madden NFL games, MLB games, Manhunt 2, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, Marvel Nemesis, Medal of Honor Heroes 1 and 2, Mega Man Powered Up, Metal Gear Acid 2, Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, Metal Slug Anthology, Metal Slug XX, Michael Jackson The Experience, Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition. Whatever happened to Midnight Club, man? Why hasn't Rockstar brought this back? It would be awesome to see them make another racing game. I don't know, it's just so weird to picture Rockstar making any other game but GTA and Red Dead. Monster Hunter, do you guys remember back when the Monster Hunter games were exclusive to PSP? It's kind of crazy to think about now when Monster Hunter is literally Capcom's biggest franchise ever. Monster Jam Urban Assault, Mortal Kombat Unchained, Mitrian Wars and Plus, Namco Museum, Napoleon Dynamite, Naruto Ultimate Ninja Heroes, some Naruto games here, all the NBA games, some Need for Speed games for the PSP. We got Most Wanted 510, Undercover, Underground Rivals, Carbon Own the City, Fall Street 2, Obscure the Aftermath, Open Season, Outrun 2006, Coast to Coast, Pac-Man World 3, Patapon 2 and 3, Phantom, Brave, Pimp My Ride. You guys remember that show? Pinball Hall of Fame, Pipe Mania, a really fun puzzle game. It's a much smaller game, but it's just super addictive. Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End, Pirates of the Caribbean Power Stone Collection, PKQ, Prince of Persia Revelations, Rival Swords, Prinny 1 and 2, Pro Evolution Soccer games, the Pursuit Force games for the PSP, some exclusives for the handheld system, Pursuit Force Extreme Justice, Puzzle Chronicles, Puzzle Quest, Race Driver 2006, Rapala Pro Best Fishing, Ratchet and Clank Size Matters, Does It Really, Real Fishing, Rengoku The Tower of Purgatory, Rengoku 2, Resistance Retribution. This is better than the PS Vita Resistance game. Ridge Racer, Riviera, Rock Band Unplugged, Rocky Balboa, Samurai Warriors, Scarface, Money, Power, Respect, Scooby-Doo Who's Watching Who, Secret Agent Clink, Sega Genesis Collection, Shadow of Destiny, Shaun White Snowboarding, Shin Megami Tensei Persona 2 Innocent Sin, Shrek Smash and Crash Racing, Shrek the Third, Silent Hill Shattered Memories, Silent Hill Origins, Sonic Rivals 2, Soul Calibur Broken Destiny, Space Invaders Extreme, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, Spider-Man Friend or Foe, Splinter Cell Essentials, Split Second, SSX on Tour, Star Ocean Second Evolution, Star Wars Battlefront 2, got a lot of these Star Wars PSP titles here, Steambot Chronicles, Steel Horizon, Street Fighter Alpha 3 Max, I love the Alpha games, especially on PS1, Super Monkey Ball Adventure, Serves Up, SWAT, Sweet Fuse at Your Side, Siphon Filter, Dark Mirror, Logan Shadow, Tales of the World, Radiant Mythology, Tekken 6, Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection, Test Drive Unlimited, The Third Birthday, one of the exclusive PSP titles. This isn't available on any other system or handheld, but of course here we have it on the RP5. The Bigs, the Con. I thought this game would be a lot better if it was just a straight up fighting game. The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, the Godfather, the Golden Compass, the Hustle, the King of Fighters Collection, the Orochi Saga, Legend of Heroes, the Terror of Vermilion, Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky, the Lord of the Rings Aragon's Quest, the Simpsons game, the Warriors Thrillville, TNA Impact, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Predator, Tomb Raider Legend, Tony Hawk's Project 8, Underground 2 Remix, Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, the game, Tron Evolution, Twisted Metal Head On, The Undisputed, Ultimate Ghost and Goblins, Undead Knights, another exclusive PSP title, Untold Legends, Valhalla Knights, Valkyria Chronicles 2, Valkyrie Profile Lenneth, Beautiful Joe Red Hot Rumble. I'm not that into this Beautiful Joe game because it's not a straight up Beautiful Joe game. It's sort of a Smash Bros type of clone game, fighting game. Virtua Tennis 3, Wally was a good movie, man. Warriors of the Lost Empire, Warriors Orochi, Orochi 2, What Did I Do to Deserve This, My Lord, Wild Arms X, F, Wipeout Pulse, Worms Open Warfare, RC WTF, WWE All-Stars, SmackDown vs. Raw 2006, 2007, 2008, 9, 10, 11. I'm quite surprised that all the SmackDown vs. Raw games actually were released on the PSP, and they were quite good on it as well. Ease, The Oath in Felghana, all the Ease games here. Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D Tag Force, all the Tag Force Yu-Gi-Oh! Games. And we have ZHP 007 From Russia with Love, and that is basically it for all the PSP titles here. So what is the special announcement I have for you guys today? I'm getting rid of this Retroid Pocket 5 here. I have already purchased the Retroid Pocket 6. Look forward to the Retroid Pocket 6 videos. I just couldn't justify keeping it, especially since I could get back around $180 to put towards that Retroid Pocket 6. So I ended up getting rid of it. I did keep the 2TB microSD card, which will go into my Retroid Pocket 6 once I do receive that. I will end up getting that around March. I was part of the second round of pre-orders, and as we all know, the people that pre-ordered it later will end up receiving it in March, which kind of sucks. You know, I was looking forward to making content on this already, but it is what it is. I couldn't purchase it around the time that they announced it, so I did end up going with the black version with the Hall stick at the top. I'm getting the Retroid Pocket 6, no more Retroid Pocket 5 content. That is the announcement for the channel. Back to the video. 2 terabytes is a lot of storage to have, specifically on a Retroid Pocket 5. Most people just want to store certain games on their Retroid Pockets, so they don't need all that extra storage. But for someone like me that likes having entire libraries of my legally backed up games on something like a Retroid Pocket 5, the 2 terabytes micro SD card really comes in handy there. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It was quite fun to make for me. If you guys enjoy this content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It truly helps me out a lot. And I'm out of here because this took me a while to film. Take care out there, and I'll see you next time. Peace.